All right, hey there, home buyers. You have a lot of questions, especially first-time home buyer. So I'm going to answer some of those questions today. Hey there, this is a KG. I'm a realtor with Fairfax Realty in Greenbelt, where we have buyers who buy their dream home and sellers to sell their houses. So if you're looking to buy, sell, or move into this area, please contact us below. We'll take care of you. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you get updates once we upload a new video. So today, I'm going to answer questions from first-time home buyers. Most first-time home buyers have the same question. So I'm going to use one person that I'm going to answer our question and I'll hopefully answer some of your question as first-time home buyer. So today I'm talking to Aaliyah. Aaliyah, introduce yourself.
Yes, hi, Auntie. So my name is Aliyah. I am a pharmacist in Maryland. I graduated 2 years ago, so I think it's time for me to buy a house. I've completed my graduate education, and I feel like it's a great next step. So here we are with a couple questions for Auntie Keji, and I'm excited to find out
All
the answer to these questions.
All right. Yeah. I'm glad to answer your question, Aliyah. Everybody has the same question. Aliyah is a millennial, right? So millennials are buying houses, creating generational wealth, and starting off right. So I'm always excited when I see young people that want to buy a house, and I'm love it to answer your question. So let's go. What's your questions?
Okay, so question number one, Auntie Keji.
Mhm.
What happens if I can no longer afford the mortgage?
Okay.
How does this risk compare to somebody who is renting and cannot afford rent any longer? So basically, what I'm asking is owing mortgage versus owing rent, right? Which would result in foreclosure versus court order, right? If you don't pay your rent.
Mhm.
So what happens if I can
Okay.
no longer afford my mortgage, and what is the risk, and how does this risk compare to if I were renting and something similar were to happen?
Okay. So if somebody bought a house and they cannot afford the mortgage, maybe because there's a job loss or there's a sickness, right? So most mortgage company want to work with you. They don't just get up and foreclose. They want to work with you to find a way to keep you in the house or to exit the house gracefully. The last resort is always foreclosure. So it's very, very important if that situation happens for anybody. If you buy a house and for some reason you could not make the mortgage, the first thing you really want to do is to call your mortgage company and let them know this is what is going on. I cannot make the mortgage because I'm unemployed or whatever. And many times they will do forbearance, like they will say, okay, you don't need to pay for the next 6 months because you don't have a job. They can put that payment that you didn't pay, they'll add it to the back of the loan, or they can do loan modification. Maybe the interest rate is high, they can now reduce the interest rate so that you can be able to afford at least some payment. So it's always good to talk to the mortgage company and work with them. The last resort is really foreclosure, and they don't do that lightly. It's very, very expensive for mortgage company, so it's not something they just wake up and do. The most important is to make sure you communicate with them and talk to them. Yeah,
Wow, I did not know that. Thank you
yeah.
so much.
Mhm,
Question number two.
mhm.
What are the top five reasons most people choose one house over others they viewed during their search? For example, during house hunters, in that final moment, what are the top five reasons most people choose one house over the others that they viewed during their search?
Okay. The top, the number one is the price. If the price works for them, they always go for the price. The second one is location. If it's the location they want to be in, they will buy it. Then the condition of the house, if it meets their needs, like somebody's looking for a 3 bedroom and they did find 3 bedroom, they will take it. The other one is I think I talk about the price, the condition, and the school. Some people are very particular about the school system. Like, oh, I want to be in this school system. They will take that. So those are the top reasons that people take one over the other. And you look at different houses, but those are the top reasons. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. My next question is, what factors improve sellability of a house in case in 6 months you don't feel like owning is what you thought it was? What factors improve sellability of the house?
Okay, so first of all, I hope nobody's going to sell their house in 6 months because you're going to owe money. You're not going to make money. But as far as sellability of a house, kitchen is very, very important. If your kitchen is top grade, people like kitchen. The flooring as well, want to make sure it's a good flooring. The walls, fresh coat of paint will go a long way. If it's bright color paint like off white or gray. Then the bathroom is also a very, very big deal. People love that. So once you get all those, it will sell quickly. And then curb appeal. So because one thing you want to do is when people are coming to look at the house, you want them to like the house even from the outside. That means if you have shutters around your house, you want to make sure they're clean, the doors are nice, the handles are very good. So the exterior also is a big deal as well.
Wow, thank you so much.
Mhm.
Question number 4. How do I know that I am ready to buy a house?
How do you know you're ready? Well, once you don't want to that once you want to not stop paying rent, right? And then you can afford the mortgage. You can afford the mortgage. You can not only the mortgage, you can afford the expenses that comes with it. Because not only the mortgage that we're talking about, you pay the mortgage, you pay the utilities, gas and electric, and then you pay water. I mean, those can add up. So once you can afford that, and then also have some emergency fund just in case something happen, because now you're a homeowner, something may happen that you need to fix quickly, so you want to have that cushion. But the most important thing also is, I always tell people, if you're in a location that you think, I'm not going to be in this location for more than 2 years, I'm going to move, then it's really not advisable to buy a house, because it takes a while for you to get equity in your house before you when you buy and then to sell it. So, but if you're going to be in a location for at least 5 years, and you have the money, you have the credit, you have the means, then definitely it's time for you to buy.
Thank you.
Mhm.
My next question is talking about equity.
Mhm.
What types of factors will ensure that equity is generated on a house?
Okay, so equity means the amount of so you bought your house for 200,000, just an example. You bought your house for 200,000, 1 year or 2 years later, other houses in the area are now selling for the same houses like yours are now selling for 250. So the difference is now what you what you bought, what you pay for it, and what is now worth. The difference is what is called equity, right? So you cannot make anything for your equity to go up, or you can't do anything. You can't do anything as a homeowner to make your equity go up or to go down. It's the economy, right? It's the demand and supply. Like, let's take for example this market that we're in right now. A lot of people have equity because there's a lot of demand in the market, so their equity went up. So also it happens back in 2006 when we have the crash, that market drop. A lot of people lost their equity, their negative territory. So as a homeowner, you really cannot determine, I want my equity to go up, I want my equity to go down. No, that's not, you can't do that. It's the market that determines that. What you can do is to make your house presentable, like we just talked about, to make it sellable, to make it attractive. If you want to sell it, the buyers will like it. Mhm.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mhm.
My next question is, I often feel a need to buy a new construction
Mhm.
because I think that it means no problems. Is this mindset wrong? Or what are the advantages and disadvantages of each type, whether a new construction or an old house? And on that topic, what is considered an old house?
So an old house is an old house, right? That was constructed a while ago, but it's personal preference. It is really personal preference. You can do a new construction, you can do an exist. We don't even call it an old house, we call it an existing house, right? So, and there's some existing house that the owners have really done renovation top to bottom. That you, even though the year said old, but they've already done a lot of the renovation in the house that will make it very, very good. So it's personal preference. So I would not say one is safe than the other. The I guess the advantage for new construction is they will give you a 1 year warranty. Most builders will give you a 1 year warranty. If anything breaks within that 1 year, they'll come in and fix it. But that's about it. It's personal preference. It's really, and there's no old house. It's called existing house.
Got it. Thank you for that correction. Now I know. Okay, my next question is, how does home ownership serve as a tax benefit? I hear that a lot and I've never actually known what that means.
Okay, so as a tax benefit, you get to when you file your taxes, you get to have deductions. If you have, of course, if you have student loan, you deduct some of the interest that you pay on student loan, right? So when you're a homeowner, you get to deduct the taxes, the property tax you pay in a year as a deduction, the interest that you pay on the loan. When they give you a loan, they charge you interest. The taxes and the interest are tax deductible. So your tax bill is lowered compared to somebody that doesn't have a house. That's what they're talking about.
Awesome. That's good to know. Thanks.
Mhm.
My next question, what fraction of my monthly income should my mortgage be?
So sometimes you can be approved for a big amount of money. It doesn't mean you have to buy it. You really, really want your housing bill not to be more than 30 to 40% of your expenses, of your income. That is actually stretching it. So if, say for instance, if somebody is making 4,000 a month, that's net 4,000 a month, considering that you're going to eat, considering you're going to have utilities, considering you're going to have entertainment, be able to, pay tithes and stuff like that. On a 4,000, you really do not want to go over 2,000 a month in mortgage when your income is 4,000 a month. You really don't want to go out for 2,000, because then you'll be stretching yourself, because there are other things that you have to do in the house. We just talk about, sometimes if something breaks down in the house, how are you going to fix it if you don't have that cushion there? So you really want to stay within range that is not going to overstretch you. Mhm.
Awesome. Thank you. My next question is a bit long.
Okay.
So, as a single person, right,
Mhm.
my biggest hesitation about buying a house is that I feel I should wait till I am married and buy a house with my husband.
Mhm.
So, if I buy a house now,
Mhm.
then meet my husband in the near future, who might be from another state, and I might move to go be with him.
Mhm.
What can I do with the house at that point?
Okay, you can rent the house. If you don't want to sell it immediately, you can rent it. A lot of people do the same thing. They have to move, then they rent the house. Maybe the market is not good for them to sell. They'll rent it for a few years, then they sell it. So you definitely can rent the house. And there's always demand for rentals. So there's always demand for rentals. So you can definitely rent the house. And like you said, because you're single does not mean you don't have to buy. Of course, if you can afford it, you should buy it. And then when you get married, buy a bigger one. But being single should not be a deterrent for not buying, right? And should not be a deterrent for buying as well. So, but what you can do is either sell it or rent it.
Okay.
Mm,
Thank you very much. And my last question, you kind of touched on it already. So
mm,
you just said I shop online a lot, right?
mm,
And of course, I'm looking at houses online a lot.
mm,
So the question is, when I go to the property,
mm,
right,
mm.
what should be high on my checklist?
When
I
you're
think
looking at properties, okay. So I always say, what you see, sometimes what you see is not what you get. What you see online is not what you get when you get to a house. So one of the things you really want to do is, before you go out and start looking at houses physically, you want to know what areas, so that you just stay within the area that you want it to be in. You want to stay within the price range that you want to be in. So if, let's just say for conversation's sake, you want to buy a townhouse that is no more than 300,000, you should not be looking at a townhouse of 350. They're not going to come down in the price. That doesn't really make sense. It doesn't happen. So you want to look at townhouses that are under 300. So when you already have your perimeters, like I want 3 bedroom, 2 bath, you want to narrow it down to those ones, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, so that when you get there, you look at them. And then the other thing is, so once you look at a house, look at the fixtures that you want, that you like in it, right? Make sure you want to take notes, because when you look at a lot of houses, you may forget, but you want to take notes. When I talk to buyers, get a note, write down, maybe a piece of paper, just write down, this one has bedroom upstairs or whatever, just write down notes, so that when you get back, you can now sit down and think about it and see, this one you want, this is the one I want, or I don't want this, or eliminate some. But what I also want to say is, when you look at a house, looking at a house, you don't know the functionality of everything, right? You may see, we see that it's winter, we don't know if the AC is working, or if the plumbing has issues. That's where home inspection comes in, after you actually make an offer and your offer is accepted, and we can schedule a home inspection to look at all those things.
Wow, thank you so much. This was such an insightful session. That was actually my last question, and I feel like I learned a lot. Thank you, Auntie.
You're welcome. I hope you learn a lot, and looking forward to moving you from renter to home ownership, right,
I can't
Aaliyah?
wait. Yes, absolutely. I'm definitely convinced that the benefits of buying a house, you spend so much time searching on the internet and reading people's opinions, but it's enlightening to actually get, you ask these questions on the internet, but you will never get a direct answer,
And
right?
yeah.
But for me to get a direct answer to real questions, I have to tell you, I sat down, I was coming up with these questions, and I literally got into a zone that I was in a few weeks ago when I
Okay.
was really looking at my budget and,
Mhm.
considering all the things I had to consider that I thought I needed to get a house. And these questions came out of that space. So I feel so privileged. You have no idea.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Aaliyah.
To
Thank
have this
you.
session because so many doubts and questions and concerns that I truly had in my real life. I really wasn't asking these questions saying, oh, what are a million people who are buying a house? What should they ask? I was asking what I really was
Everyone,
on my mind. And I'm so happy that I did that, and that you invited me here because the answers to your questions, to those questions, mean more to me than you even know. So
thank
thank you, Auntie Keji. I'm so grateful.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Aliyah. So, like I said, I always like when millennials make the move quickly. Imagine if you buy a house now, in the next 20, 15 years, you paid off the house. Woo! That is living large, right? Because housing is one of the biggest expenses we have every month. So if you can pay it off quickly, the earlier you start, the earlier you pay it off, which is very good. So I'm always happy to answer questions. So guys, if you're looking to buy, sell, or move into Maryland, DC, or Virginia, contact me below and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions about what we just talked about, please drop me an email or drop me a comment and I will answer the question. Until next time, ciao.